Tell me more about that shift from oh my god to okay. What was the what was the tone of the oh my god versus the tone of the okay?
Well, I'll go back. I'll tell you why why we ended up moving to Norway. Like I said, I was working as a police officer. I was a narcotics and gang detective in a suburb on the south side of Chicago. Um,
Okay, yeah,
let me,
I've spent time in Chicago. Yeah.
yeah, but let me say this: our suburb was fairly safe and a fairly good place to live at that time. However, south side of Chicago, everybody reacts when they hear that.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that's where the gang problem is. Most of the gang problem, most of the drug problems. So we had our share of work to
Mm-hmm.
do. I had come into working an investigation that turned out to be, it exposed a fairly large and active gang. And we're talking everything about, counterfeit money, of course, drug sales, weapon sales, murder for hire, the whole Chicago gang thing. They found out where we lived. Yeah,
Hmm.
they found out where we lived. So one night, about 11:30 at night, we had just gone to bed, my wife and I, and we got a phone call from our neighbor. She's like the classic, the typical nosy old lady who's always looking out her window. Well, thank God that she actually did this, because she called us and said, "Hey, there's 2 or 3 guys that just climbed the fence in your backyard and they're walking up towards the house." So I had my wife call 911. I had my police radio there, so I went on the radio band and put the call out. Long story short, a bunch of officers came to our house. They caught 2 of the guys. One of them got away, but they caught 2, and one of those 2 was armed. So it's kind of obvious what they were there to do. So I found all of this out that evening. The next day, I just stayed at work and I'm working the next day. Then a call goes out. We shared a radio frequency with I think it was 4 other Chicago suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the other suburbs put a call out. There was a large disturbance at this gym. And I can't remember the name of the gym now, but it's where my wife worked as an instructor.
Right.
And I'm like, oh God, no. So I went over on that call as well. It turns out 15, 20 guys from this gang showed up where she worked. And it's obvious what they were there to do. But anyway, tons of police from all of the surrounding districts came there. The whole thing got resolved. That day, I took a leave of absence, drove my wife 7 hours up to some friends up in Minnesota. I stayed there with my wife for a couple of days and we're talking things through and all this. I left her there. I came back, and our police department at that time had a residency requirement. If you're a police officer for that town, you have to live in that town. So I asked for an exception to that. I got to move. I can't have these people knowing what, it's one thing if they know where I live, but they know where my wife lives. They know where my wife works. We have to fix this. And I didn't get the support that I needed from the police department. So that is what led to me quitting. I didn't want to make that decision, but really it was not a hard decision. My safety and my wife's safety or not.
Yeah.
So what is there to think about? I went back up to Minnesota, went on a plane with my wife to Norway. I stayed here for about 2 weeks, flew back to Chicago, worked that case a little bit more, because at that time I hadn't made up my mind whether or not I was going to quit.
Right.
But I did take a leave of absence for those 2 weeks while I was in Norway with my wife, thinking it through. I went back, I worked the case for about another month and a half, all the while trying to talk with the police chief and the leaders there. And they just wouldn't give me the situation that I needed to continue working there, to feel safe. And I quit we got rid of everything, and I joined my wife in Norway on the 5th of June, 2002.
Wow.
Today is my anniversary of being in Norway.